What is up, everyone? Not too sure if anyone's here yet, but I'm going to go live now. So I'm going to do a bit of product research. Going to do some live product research and just show basically the process, how it works and how everything goes. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started. If you don't know me, my name's George, the remote seller. And I sell on Amazon, do wholesale. So I thought I might as well just show my process when I start showing my screen. Okay, so very important to note what type of basically business model I follow. So my business model is if I find suppliers, large ones with a lot of products, a lot of product lists. I don't find the product first, I find the supplier first. It makes things much, much more efficient. You find the supplier and you open up an account with the supplier. After you open up the account with the supplier, basically what you need to do is you need to request their price list. At that point, after you request their price list, that's when you want to process their price list and see what they actually have, what's going to make you money from that list. A lot of other people do it the other way around. They try to source products. They go to Keeper, for example, or they go to Product Finder. They find 1,000 Keeper products through Keeper, and then they try and they see which ones make sense, and then they try to find suppliers for them. I think, in my opinion, it's very counterintuitive. Very, very slow. It's only opportunistic. It doesn't really help you that much. So in my opinion, it's much, much better to start from the actual supplier. Now, I've got a list I'm going to process from you. It's from Hasbro. I'm not too sure how big it is. It's a Hasbro list. So basically a lot of toys are going to be in this list. And I'm going to show you basically the way I'll process this list. So I always do it with Astro Advanced Analytics. So I get their price list. I'll just quickly show the price list, what it looks like. So the price list looks something like this from Hasbro. So this is the price list. So basically what you have when you're looking at a normal price list, you've got the SKU or the item number, product description, price. This one has a carton. So it's telling you it comes in 8 packs, 12 packs, 3 packs, carton weight, cubic feet of the actual carton, and the UPC. So what we really want, the most important for us, is the UPC and the price. That's what we want. We want the UPC and the price. All the other stuff is just a bonus. So we're going to go ahead and upload this list. And the first thing you need to do, basically, you need to match the columns. So what are we using? We're using the UPC to find the products. We're also using the price, of course, because that's how we're going to understand how much the product costs to see if the product's profitable. There is an item number. It's called SKU in the actual file. So we're going to use the SKU, and there's a description, the product and description right there. And we're going to go ahead and import that. And guys, feel free to ask questions. Hey, what's up, Matt? How are you? Any questions you have? I'd really like if it was kind of more live and I can actually talk with you guys. I think maybe next time we can try to have collaborations and somehow have guys talking. And you can actually be on the video. I think that would be real cool. But maybe see how that works. I want to turn this thing into a weekly thing where we just do product research. You guys can talk and you guys can ask questions. So right now we're uploading this list. I think it'll be real cool if we can just chat and talk about things and just do the work and live. I can go through the process. I can go through the lists, and you guys can see my process, the way I would approach these lists, and we can kind of do it that way. It's midday here in Australia. It's 12 p.m. Not sure what time it is in your neck of the woods. I think US is afternoon. So let's just refresh this list while it's coming in. Okay, we've got around 600 products in here so far. Still more on the way. Oh, that's probably it. Okay, not too many products in this list. All right. The first thing I like to do when I look at a list like this, 7 p.m. on the East Coast. Okay, 7 p.m. Good timing then. I think it's a good time, afternoon for you guys. All right, the first thing I do when I look at a list like this, there's all these ASINs here that have no buy box. So we need to give them a price. If they have no buy box, that means they're being calculated as if they cost $0. So we want to give them a price. I usually go to the mass buy box override, and I just override them with either the 90 or the 180-day average. Whatever the average is over that time, I just override them with that. So now they're going to all get overridden. They're going to have a price in there. So we don't miss out on any opportunities, because just because it doesn't have anyone in the buy box now and it appears like it's got $0 profit now, it doesn't mean that it might not have any, it might have had a lot of profit just a few months ago. So we don't want to miss out on opportunities like that just because no one's in the buy box at the moment. Very important we use that. That takes a few seconds to load. So we'll just wait for that to load. And then also want to briefly talk about some of the challenges new sellers have. So one of the biggest challenges that new sellers have when they first start is the fact that they're gated. I know, because I'm advising a lot of new sellers, and the fact that they're gated in a lot of ASINs, it makes it real hard. What you got to do is you got to focus on a product that sells. That's got to be your first focus. Like, a lot of people are thinking about restocking and doing stuff like that, but your first focus is you have to find stuff that you can actually sell. That's got to be your first focus. When you start selling a few hundred units per month, a lot of things start ungating automatically, and all these things open up. Can you explain how the IP alert colors are decided? Yeah, well, we have a database with the IP alert. Just to show you, there's 3 levels of IP alerts. We have yellow, which is a low-level threat. Then we have orange, middle-level threat, and red, dark-level threat. So basically, we have a database of the way, basically, it states the way companies have reacted and how hard they've gone after sellers who sold their products. So if it's a yellow, it's usually just an email or maybe a letter. If it's an orange, it's a bit more severe, but the reds are the ones where they go through Amazon and they try to, they give you an instant IP alert and like an IP notification, and you get hit. I'm not talking about Section 3s necessarily, but you get an IP claim against your account. So that's the way the IP alerts work. All right, so now we've got these products here. We can see all the products, all toys basically. We see a lot of toys. Hasbro. So I wouldn't be too worried about selling a Hasbro toy that I bought from Hasbro. So you see this one here, Aero Trading. This is the type of IP alert is a low level threat. I wouldn't be too worried because I actually bought, this is Hasbro's list. So if I was to purchase this product, I've got the best invoice that could cover it. So that wouldn't be an issue for me for that one. But I would probably avoid the red ones. I probably want to avoid like this one here, Peppa Pig, and maybe I've sold Star Wars in the past, so I'm not too sure. Maybe I know there's a medium level threat there according to the database that we have, but I'll probably still go for them. Now, my filters. So these, okay, have a little think about what type of products these are. These are toys. So toys can be very cheap. Like they can, be toys that you buy for $1, maybe sell for $6, $7. But there's also toys that you can be, you can sell them for like $100, $80, $70. So there will still be a lot of profit in products that are slow sellers. They don't have to sell 500 units a month for you to make money. Like if you find a product that you can buy for 20 or 30 bucks and you can sell for 60 or 70 with a nice, $15, $20 worth of profit after all expenses, even if it only sells 10, 12 units a month, there's money to be made there. If you can make, if it sells 10 units a month and he makes $12 worth of profit, that's, $100 plus dollars worth of profit. So it's not bad. So my favorite filter I like to use overall, if you just go to the Astro preset filters, I like to use this one here, low sales and high ROI. So I'm just going to show you the filter and what it actually means. So the IP issues alert, I've got less than low, but I want to actually have these in here, these yellow ones from Hasbro. So I'm going to go and make that medium. Now we're removing all the hazmat products. If Amazon is in the buy box, like this one here, very low chance that it's going to be profitable. Very high chance that Amazon is not going to allow you to actually sell the product. Well, you're allowed to sell the product, but they're not going to get, you're barely going to be getting in the buy box if you see a lot of Amazon in the buy box. So I like to say Amazon is false. Buy box is Amazon false. Sales estimate, I'll go a bit lower than 5, but let's just go to 3 for this one. Now, ROI, I've set that to 4. Profit, I've got that at $4. I just set that to 2.5. I think we're going to just check out what appears to us in this filter, and we can go from there. All right, so from the 790 we originally had, we're down to 68. That's what I love so much about, just using Astro. You find these products so fast. And 68, there's a lot here, man. There's a lot of products here that we can actually be going for. So just going over this list, so there's 68 products. You know what I like to do in this case? I like to send them straight to a shortlist, because that way I can see which ones I'm restricted on. Instead of going through them one by one and shortlist, and then I'm restricted in a lot of them, I just send them straight to a shortlist right now. So all these 68 are going to go added to a favorite list. I'm just going to call the list Hasbro Live, because it is a live call. Let's add those products here. So that's 68 products in there. Let's go ahead. Let's go over to the short list, or the favorites list as we call it now. It's just over here, our favorites list. And let's go ahead and open this up and see which ones are restricted. So there's a lot of here that that are restricted. Not too many that I can sell. Wow, very few that I can sell. The ones that I need to request approval on, I'm pretty sure if I attempted to request approval on those, I would get approved, because the invoice is from Hasbro, so it's a very high likelihood. So I will consider them in the list in the order that I'm making now, but I'll remove the ones that are outright restricted. So those ones, there's no way I'm going to be able to sell them. So this. All these are going to be removed. So I'm just going to delete them. And let's just reverse this and just check out the ones that we can actually sell. So only 3 are outright approved to sell that I can sell straight away. And all the rest, I need to request approval. But like I said, if I tried to, I think there's a high likelihood that I would get approved. I'm going to approach this list from the point of view that as if I am already approved, but I'm not going to click on these one by one to see what type of ungate they need, because that will take me to my account. Now I'm just for this exercise, I'm going to apply the quantity here. I'm just going to apply whatever Astro recommends for the 30-day buy. So if you were to look at this column here, you can see that Astro is recommending I buy 50 units. This one here, for example, Astro recommends I buy 10. This one here, Astro is recommending I buy 14. So whatever it says there, I'm going to apply that to the entire list. So I'm going to go ahead and hit apply 30-day quantity. And then after that, we're going to do a bit of product research and see which ones are actually worth buying. Okay, so if we were to go ahead with this order straight away, just with the recommended quantity, it's a $22,000 order. 76% ROI, brilliant numbers. But obviously, we're going to have to look at a few of these because there's heaps. All right, so let's check out the first one, Marvel Spider-Man. It's got a very high rank. I'm noticing that. It's telling us it sells around 12 units a month, which is a bit high for what, for 500,000. So I'm just going to check out the charts and see everything there. So there's only one seller. That's good. Now, okay, so what I'm seeing on this ASIN is that the price is all the way up here right now. So it's not selling well. You can see that it's not selling well. But when it was over here, there was a lot more action. When it was at this price, between what's the low end's $28 for the FBM sellers, the high end for the FBA sellers was $39. So it was just going up and down. So at that price, this product was had good sales volume. When people jacked up the price and took it up to $65, obviously the sales volume just dropped completely. The number of sales dropped completely, not much sales volume, and the BSR just shot up. But there were also more sellers during this period. So you can see that. Now, if I was to price this product, I believe I could price this product a bit lower, like at that $38 mark. So if I was to price it at $38, there's still $9 in profit. Let's just say I price it at $37.99, right? So I'm pricing at $37.99. There's still profit, so that's good. $8.85, 50% ROI, and I think it could probably easily sell more than 12. I think it would sell more than 12 units a month. Like I would buy 24 at this price. The only reason why the BSR is so bad right now is because the person who's currently selling it jacked up the price to $65. So that's why it's the BSR is bad. So I would probably even think about buying 24 of these. I think that could actually sell. And 50% margin, 50% ROI is fine. 23% margin is real good. All right, next one, 37%. Oh yeah, if you basically this thing here, apply quantity, you can either do a custom, like let's say you want to buy 60 units of everything you're looking at. You can just type in 60 or 100 or whatever number you want, and it applies it instantly. So you don't have to go back and forth and look at each one by one. Obviously, you do want to look at each one by one, but just to get an idea of the actual where the order could actually be, you can just apply that with one hit. And if you want to empty it, you just click on clear all quantities, and it just goes back to 0. So that's a cool little feature. Just make things faster for you. But now, like, it's giving us a good idea of what we could be buying. So, for example, this one here, the recommended quantity is 50 because it's looking at the fact that an FBM seller is in the buy box. So it's saying, yeah, you can go ahead and buy 50 because they'll sell, because there's an FBM person in the buy box. All you have to do is beat this FBM person. But it's actually very important to look at the listing and see where everyone else is. You see, there's a person at $18.56. I'm guessing that they're not in the buy box anymore. This seller here is because they probably don't have stock. When you see they have 1 unit of stock, it might be available, but it's most likely probably like maybe it's being transferred, that last 1 unit, so they're not really in stock. So that's why they're not in the buy box. So you can either consider $18.56 as your let's just check out the FBA sellers. So there's 18, 22.93, and 24.99. So me personally, if I was selling this product, I'll probably price it at $20.99. I like to come in on these FBM listings. I like to the lowest FBA seller. It's still going to be quite profitable at that number. Yeah. Does the quantity per case influence the amount bought? The case, let's say if it comes to a take, would you order 20 instead? So does the quantity per case influence the amount bought? So when you're saying quantity per case, you're talking about how many the supplier has, right? Like if the supplier says it's an 8-pack or 12-pack and so forth, I'm guessing. Yeah, I would. Yeah, of course. So if most of these products are either 6s or 12 packs. So I always really calculate things in 6s or 12s. So I wouldn't buy 10 or 50 of these, for example. For this one here, I'd probably buy 48, which goes into both. Even if they come as a 12-pack, it calculates in 12 packs just fine. Even if it comes as a 6-pack, it works out just fine. I did notice on the list, and I should have brought in that quantity pack. I did notice on that list that there were a few products that may have come in as 8-packs. So I should have put this into the mix as well. This column. So that was my mistake. I should have done that from the start. But let's just like later on when I'm actually going to apply, if I was to order these products, I can just adjust the quantities there, and it's no problem. So this one, yeah, I'd probably, there's a couple other sellers that I wouldn't buy 50 of these. I wouldn't even buy 48, which calculates the quantity pack. I'd probably buy around 36 of these, just because there's another 2 FBA sellers. And even though I'm beating them, I'm still not comfortable buying the full amount shown there. So this one here, let's just quickly see the data, see what's up. $79 is the FBA seller, but they are in the buy. Wait, they're in the buy box here. So the FBA seller, $62.73. Okay, I don't even see them. It's weird. It's very, very profitable as well. Let's just refresh this. Okay, so this one here is 171% ROI. Spider-Man. Okay, so this is a 2-pack. So this one, you need to be careful with this. So firstly, yes, it's a 2-pack, something you need to consider. And you need to make sure you're getting the right product. So this is a Spider-Man versus Venom. Now, obviously, if you were to go to the supplier's website and try to order this, you'll see exactly what's up. Like if it's 2 action figures or just 1 action figure. But there is Spider-Man versus Venom in the actual description, so it might be both. Not too sure, but that's something I'm going to have to check there. But I'm also considering in the worst case scenario that it's a 2-pack, it's still profitable, 35%. If it's a 1-pack, that's fine. It's ultra profitable. If it's a 2-pack, it's still kind of profitable. So in terms of how many units to buy, for a product like this, I don't mind going a bit over 1 month's worth of stock. I'd probably just buy 12. Like because I'm not buying 200. I'm not buying 1,000. It's only 12 at the end of the day. If it takes up a month and a half to sell off, so what? That's kind of like it's small quantities. If we're talking about buying 100, like let's say that let's say the monthly sales was 100 and you're buying 100. 100 is a bit it's a lot. If it's expensive, if it's an expensive product, maybe you're going too heavy. But if you're only buying 12 units. And 12 units will take 2 months to sell off. It's not that bad because it's a small amount anyway. You're putting it's much less risk. So that's kind of the way that I would approach when it comes to how I buy it. Like if a product has super high ROI, like 200% ROI, 300% ROI, I would buy a few more units than normal. But if it doesn't, it's like if it doesn't have that high ROI and the sales are still not like very high, it's a bit of a risk getting too many units. That's why I kind of want to be careful about. So yeah, a lot of products here, very, very profitable, 75% ROI. Just got to go through all of these and make sure that that the quantities are correct. So this one here, for example, it's a Hulk and Smash Truck. So it looks like the quantity is correct on that one. So a lot of profitable products here. This one seems like it's a 3-pack. So might want to do a 3-pack here. Just you got to check out exactly what's going on. If you go to the actual website, you can see exactly what the product's about. So Baby Alive solid dole food and refill. Yep. Not too sure if it's 3 or if it's 1, but that one is kind of the one that you would have to check on the website. But looking at the price, it seems like it would likely be a 3-pack. But yeah, like we got 64 solid products out of this list. Now, I'm not too sure how many I could sell, but if I was just looking at these first 3, which I 100% am able to sell right now as we speak, we're talking about let me just bring up the calculator. So this order it would cost us $408 plus $313 plus another $408. So $1,129 order. And by the way, this has no discounts applied to it. These are the prices, from the website. And the profit would be, so 1129 as order size, and the profit would be 212 plus 151 plus 148. So 511 from 1121 order. So the 1121 also add the prep fee, probably be around $1,200 together with the prep fee. So $500.11, $511, sorry, divided by, let's say, roughly $1,200, 42% ROI on this order. So not bad. And that's just on the products that I can actually sell at this point. So obviously heaps of products here that require approval. Yeah. So any questions about this, guys? So you see, like there is money to be made. That's what I was trying to say. Like there's money to be made, even we don't have to get a huge discount. If you want to scale, if you want to really scale, you're going to need discounts. You want to get discounts. You want to go high volume and get massive discounts. But even like in the lower, if you only have 1,000 or 2,000 to invest into goods, there's still a lot of money to be made. $500 from this one order. This order can sell off within 4 to 6 weeks. These products have all sold off. If I was to go through this whole order and get approved on all these, we're talking about a $22,000 order just based on the recommended quantities. Some of them you might be needing, you probably will buy more. For example, this one here, it says the recommendation is to buy 50. If I check it out, let's check it out. It's 27% ROI. Let's check out this listing. Okay, so lowest FBA seller is $54.99. And so really only this person is the only competitor if you're going to price at that range. So $54.99, where was that? Right there, yep. $8.39 worth of profit. How much stock do they have? 84 units. Okay, they're not selling off soon. So yeah, so maybe I would probably buy, maybe 48 of these. In probably buying in 12s or so, 6s or 12s. So yeah, not bad. This product's not bad. Any other questions, fellas? Also, one thing that you got to keep in mind is the variations. So this here, there are variations. So if we have this figure here come through, the bought in the past month from Amazon, that means that the variation is correct. So it's correct considering the variations. If there's less than, if there's no bought in the past month, like this one has a 0 bought in the past month here, just check out this one here, 407,000, and it's 0, then the variation number gets skewed. So if I click on the variations here and see all the variations on this listing, there's only one. So in this case, it was listed as a variation from Amazon, but there's only one. So this one does get 10 sales. But let me show you another example where things might get skewed. So this one here has 18 sales per month, and it's a variation. So let's see how many ASINs are under this variation. Again, another one which is just 1. This one is 12. The thing is, if there are many variations within it, just understand that the number might get skewed. So it might be less sales for one, more sales for another. How do you factor in shipping? Some of these sales, I've sold one thing as yet because I'm just not understanding something. How do I factor in shipping? Okay, so shipping comes into. Hey Jody, by the way, nice to have you here. So shipping, there's two things when it comes to shipping. One is shipping to your prep center. If you follow the way I do it, I ship the products to a prep center. The prep center then prepares the items and then sends it into Amazon for us. Okay, so just keep that in mind. So shipping to the prep center, you haven't sold one thing. Got it. So shipping to the prep center, that sometimes is free, or sometimes there might be an MOQ involved in that. So you're basically going to tell, like, if you're shipping to a prep center, not to your house, but it doesn't really make a difference. So you ship the products to your prep center. With most of my suppliers, shipping to the prep center is free as long as I purchase over a certain quantity. So like one of my suppliers says, George, you have to buy more than $5,000 worth of goods and shipping will be free. Another supplier is, George, you have to buy $10,000 worth of goods and shipping is free. Now, if shipping's not free, obviously they're going to charge you for it, and it might be a few $100s. Just depends on how many units you buy. You got to factor that in. So the way I quickly do that, like let's say we went off that example that I went earlier, where it was $511 worth of profit. All right. So what am I thinking? If I was to pay extra for shipping, my order would not be $1,200, like I said earlier, which is the order plus the units plus prep. It would be $1,200 plus whatever shipping is. So on those units that I mentioned earlier, these ones up here that would have cost us $1,200, it wouldn't be that expensive. We're talking about 24, 36, and 12 units. So what's that? That's 72 units. So 72 units may cost like $50, $60 to ship to the prep center. It wouldn't be too expensive because it's not a lot of units. So what would essentially happen in that scenario? I'm still making $512 profit, but I'm spending $1,250 or whatever prep and cost of goods prep plus shipping is, probably around $1,250. So instead of having an ROI of 45% that I said earlier, that my ROI would be 40%. So that's how you factor in shipping. Now, the next part of shipping is after the products get prepped and they get shipped to Amazon. This charge is calculated right in there, where you see the inbound placement fees. That's the average of what that gets charged. So that, if you're using Astro, and other tools have this as well, of course. Scanners don't have this, but other profit calculators that look at listings one by one do show this. So you can see this on Astro, which is a scanner, and you get the inbound placement fee appear right there. So that's fine. So the inbound placement fee will show you the extra fees that are needed to ship the product from the prep center to to Amazon. So that's something to keep in mind. And we also show you 1 month worth of your storage fees, how much it is on average per unit. So this is everything here is on a per unit basis. So, if you'll see products here that if they're a bit bigger, so if you can see something that's kind of big, that looks like it's kind of big. So this one to get shipped to Amazon is 34 cents, whereas something that's real small is just a few cents, like what's this one? That looks like it might be small. This one's 24 cents right there. So that's how that works. Well, it's great to have you here, Jody. So yeah, if any other questions, guys, feel free to go ahead and ask. This is pretty much the first live I've ever done. So obviously I do heaps of videos, but I've never done live. So yeah, I might be making some mistakes, not too sure, but hopefully it's all looking good and I sound okay from your end. Yeah, like now let's say I was off camera and I was actually working on this list. What I'd be doing right now is I'd be seeing if I'm approved for all these products. So basically, I'd probably sort by brand as well. I'd go brand, sort A to Z. And that way, all the brands are clumped together. So, if Marble's going to be together, all the brands are going to be together. So here we have Avalon. So I won't really have to go through each one by one. I just have to go through each brand. I click on the brand. I'd click on the brand. Then I would see if I'd request approval and see if it requires only 10 units, then I'm pretty much approved. All I have to do is just purchase the product and I'll be approved. But if it requires 100 units or more, then it's a question mark. So for example, I just go through Avalon, check it, see what's up. Baby Alive, there are 5 ASINs with Baby Alive. I'll just check the first one, see what it requires. If it requires only 10, I'm keeping in the list. If it requires 100 or more, I'm deleting it. And then I just keep going to the next one. Beyblade, my son plays with these. He loves them. So I just keep going through all these. I'm new and it's hard to figure out what you can sell. Yeah, that is the biggest issue that new sellers face when they just join. They just start selling on Amazon. Everything is gated, or the majority of things are gated. My advice to you would be to try there's two ways to approach it, but my advice would be to just try to sell whatever you can. In most scenarios, even producing an invoice for them will not work. So I would suggest you hook up with some suppliers, open up an account with a supplier, get their price lists, process them, process their price list with a scanner like Astro, and then the products that make sense, send them to a shortlist and see which ones you can actually sell. You might have a list of 100 and you can only sell 10. So those products that you can sell, even if the profit is very, very low, you want to try sell as many as you can. Because if you do that for a month or two, then you all of a sudden things start auto-ungating. They just start opening up, and you can just sell those products. So that's probably the best way to approach ungating. Now, the other way to approach it, of course, is to actually buy goods, and use the invoice to ungate, it doesn't always work. So I wouldn't like the fact that you spent $100 or $1,000 on goods that you can't even sell unless you have somewhere else to sell them. Like if you already have a retail store, that's fine. You can just sell them in your retail store. You buy the stuff, it's going to sit in your store until it sells. But if you're buying it just to sell it on Amazon and you're not even ungated yet, it's a risk. It's high risk. So that's something you've got to think about. The only reason I said that these ones here, I would really like for me personally as a seller, I would probably go ahead with all the ones that are Hasbro at least, is because this is actually Hasbro. This list comes directly from Hasbro, so that's why I'd really consider this list. So one of the things that I also always look at when I look at these products, it's an instant remove in most cases, is I like to look at this column right here. So the break-even strength column, in my opinion, is probably I think the most overlooked stat. It doesn't always have to be positive for me to buy, but I'm always looking at it when I'm checking out a purchase order. So I go break-even strength score, and I go, let's say low to high. I want to see the lowest ones. and I want to see why it's red. It's very important to see why it's red. Now, what does it mean when it's red? It means that the product historically was a loser. Like this one here, for example, we see that it's got 84% profit. Great. $6.97 profit, 84% ROI, great numbers, but this is red. Why is it red? It makes me very curious why it's red, and I need a good reason to understand why it's red. The only reason that would justify me buying it is it was red only because the previous sellers were FBM. So you see, it's profitable now. It's been profitable since December, but all this history here from mid-May to late November, it's been a massive loser. And here it's been a small loser. Is that the buy box was held by an FBM seller. So that's very indicative. Now, what this could also mean, that FBM seller is $10.88, but it could be $10.88 plus shipping. So it could be $10.88 plus another $6 shipping. So based on that, the actual price might be up here. So it's something to consider. So that's why, because sometimes when Amazon calculates FBM, they calculate price including shipping and also price plus shipping. So that's why I also want to look and see who's selling. So this one, yes, I would actually consider it, even though the break-even strength score was dark red. I would consider it because it's been profitable for the last 2 months. So it's not a bad product. What distance do you limit yourself when looking for suppliers in relation to your prep center? That's actually a real good question, and nice to have you here. Relax ASMR. Okay, so my main prep center is on the East Coast. It's in New Jersey. I used to work a lot with a prep center in Utah, but stopped working with them now. So I don't really consider any at the moment, until I find a reliable prep center on the West Coast. I don't consider any suppliers anymore on the West Coast. My VAs still process supplies from the West Coast, and if I find anything that's going to be ultra profitable, I'm just going to send it to the East Coast. That's fine. I'll send it to New Jersey. But mainly, what I focus on is pretty much from central US all the way out to the East Coast. That whole section, I consider it. Now, in most cases, the shipping costs aren't too much, and the shipping times aren't much either. Like it'll probably usually take I don't think I've ever had a scenario where the products took more than 3 days to arrive to the prep center. So yeah, basically, I consider all the eastern half of the US. I consider that fair game, and I'll go after them. To answer your question. Okay, so yeah, I would also make sure to even out these numbers. So you wouldn't buy 23 of these. You'd buy either 24 6s or 12s. Obviously, you'd want to check out the Excel spreadsheet to see what the carton size is, but I'd probably buy 18 of those. Yeah, you're looking at the BSR, but oh yeah, back to the original point that I was trying to make. Yeah, I want to see even the yellow ones here. I want to see why are they yellow? Why are they yellow and not green? The light green, I don't even see. That's a good thing about Astro. These light green ones, I don't even have to look at the chart. I don't even have to look at the chart. Like, I know most people say look at the chart all the time. No, in these green ones, I don't even have to look at the chart. I know that they're good. I know that when I click on any of these green ones, I know that the data is going to be brilliant. I don't have to even look. That's what I love about Astro. I'm clicking on it now, but I don't do it. I click on the other ones. I click on the other charts to see why are they yellow? Why are they red? Why? So you say, I clicked on this to find out, but I can see that the chart, the data is awesome. This here is most likely an FBM seller, and it is. So I can see that right there. So, let me just zoom in. So you can see the stuff. It's clear as day. You can see all the information. So I don't even worry about the green ones and checking out the charts. All I want to see is the recommended, and then the only times I might look at the chart is when there's a lot of sellers and the recommendation, like the units I need to buy, is quite high. And I'm like, okay, wait, is it reasonable for me to buy 40 units of this, 36 units for that? That's the time. But when I really look at an ASIN is in these scenarios here, where I see the break even. I'm like, okay, what's up here? Okay, so I've got this one here, 43% ROI, 36% ROI, this one here. what's going on? I'm profitable, but this is red. Why is it red? So then I'll go back to it and I'll look at the chart. I'll bring up the chart data and just say, okay, what's going on? I see that there are 2 FBM sellers in the ACE at the moment. The product has jumped up here, but it's jumped up even though the current sellers are FBM. Then I want to see these ones here. You see that this product here is a bit of a weird one. My break even is $16.95, and there was an FBA seller at $14.99 just before December. Do I want to mess with this one? It's a question that I have to ask myself. Now, I know 2 months is a good chunk of time to say, okay, this is the new pricing standard. It's here now. And maybe, a lot of people have run out of stock on this one, and it's not, people don't really stock it as much anymore and it's not available, but that's still a risk factor. I'm like, okay, what if all these people that were here come back in stock? So in my opinion, for a lot of these, I'd probably just not even go for them. So that's the thing. In these ones here, they're the ones where I have a better look at the chart. Like this one here, for sure, I'm looking at the chart. The recommendation is to buy 200. That's a lot. 200 units is a lot, because $19.45 times 200 units, that's a lot. So 19 times 200, it's going to be $4,000 just for this product, right? So, okay, this is where I need to treat it seriously. That's yellow. So what's going on? Let's check it out. I'll probably not buy 200. You see, I see that there are 2 FBA sellers, $47.99. Okay, this one here is the same seller. They're doing both FBA and FBM. So very interesting, very, very important to note. I see a period here in October, the price was below my break even. So a very, very important thing there as well. So how would I approach this at $47.99? This guy's got endless stock. So he's only got 21 in FBA, but he's got, according to him, 1,000 in FBM. Very important to note that. So how would I approach this? $47.99. Yeah, I wouldn't go too heavy on this. I'd probably, for me, on a product like this, even though it's got great profit, $14.21. So it's got very good profit. I wouldn't buy 200, even though the recommendation is to buy 200, because it just so happens that an FBM seller is in the buy box. We've got to consider the other guy as a competitor. So I would buy probably between 96, which divides into 12s, or 120. So I'll probably buy 96 of these. My small local grocery distributor usually doesn't service more than 400 miles. Are you within that 400-mile range? Maybe what you could do, not too sure where that person is, but maybe you can find a prep facility in that range, and then you don't have to worry about anything else. Just find a prep facility within those 400 miles of where he is, and just go that way. I'm guessing that he doesn't service them because he probably offers free shipping within that range. So I'll just, I think that that'll probably be your best bet. If you're not within that range, just try to find a prep facility that is within that range. If they're a good distributor. If they're not a good distributor, don't even bother. Just go to someone else. Yeah, fellas, keep the questions coming. Let me know if you got anything else you want to ask. I'm just going to play around with these numbers, just make them more logical. And I haven't bought toys in ages. Like even this last Q4, I didn't buy any toys. I just kept buying what I was buying. Like if the toys made sense, I'd buy them. This is an older list, by the way. So this is a list from like 2024. That's why some of the products might appear more profitable than what they are. Like these prices have probably gone up a bit. So I'm not going to show a brand new list here, but yeah, these products have probably gone up a bit. So that's why these are older prices and they appear profitable. So PJ, look at this. What happens when toys, a lot of these products, when they produce these products and then all the suppliers are out of stock, the few people that do have them in stock, they tend to really jack up the prices. So if you probably look at this one here, you'll see that like a year ago or so, the price was probably very low. I'm guessing the price, yeah, look at that. The price was break even. Now they just jack up the price. 10x. They do. Relax is asking a question. Don't toys catch a lot of returns and IP complaints? They do. Yeah, they not so much IP complaints, but they do get a lot of returns, especially if people buy them in Q4 and they return them in January. It happens so often. You see so many, but I remember there's one YouTuber, I forget his name right now. He was showing off, like he had a great December, and he had not too sure what he had in profit and all that, but basically his January, he was losing. He lost money in January because he went. I'm guessing he went real hard on toys, and yeah, so that's why I just keep selling what I normally sell. I don't sell too many toys. I sell mostly beauty, a bit of groceries. I sell sports and outdoors quite a lot lately, and health. That's what I like selling. Those are my favorite categories. Yeah. Yeah, I've got some goals as well. I want to be the, I want to, like, I'm working at being one of the highest revenue, grossing non-US wholesale sellers. So that's my goal as well. So obviously I'm not going to be showing what I actually sell here, but I'll be, try to show you guys the process, how to do things through Astro. Yeah. Any other questions, fellas? So this is my first YouTube live. So hopefully it was good. Hopefully you guys would have learned something. If we want to keep, and if we want to apply certain themes to the future ones, let me know, and we can go over certain products and certain things, certain strategies, like this specific strategy. Let me just bring in the chat here. Oh, let me just stop sharing. Okay. So this particular strategy that I went through today is the strategy that I like, that I do, that is basically going after low selling products. If I was looking at groceries, I'd probably do a different strategy. I'd probably be going, I'd use a strategy, which let me just show it to you. I'd use a strategy where, right, let me just move this around. I'd use a strategy where, I don't even know what I'm doing. Sorry about that. If I was going for groceries, I go for a discount strategy. Basically, I look at products where they sell in such high volume, where I would be buying so many units that I deserve a discount. So I'd look at products that have a small loss, up to a small loss and up. So like maybe a 50% loss, and that's how much more than a 50% loss. So anything that's 50% loss and up, I'd look at those products, and I'd be going for heavy discounts on those products. So there's so many different strategies. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this one. I'll go ahead and publish this video. If you liked it, please subscribe if it's the first time joining. And if you want to get access to Astro, drop a comment and we can arrange something. All right, see you guys.